Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. Today we're making game day chili. It's my father, Jim Ash's recipe for chili. I wanted to share with you guys. With this chili, you need a few different things. The first thing being Williams chili powder. You can find this at most grocery stores or online. This is a must-have. You cannot make this chili without this. The second one being Mrs.Grimes chili beans. This one is tougher to find. With this one in the Midwest, you should be fine finding a Hy-Vee. I did order some, me being in Colorado now, I ordered some off of the website of Menards, which our closest Menards is up in Wyoming, in Cheyenne. They shipped me a whole box of them, cans. So it's tough to find, but this is a must-have. These two things, if you don't have these two, don't even bother making this chili. Flat out. This makes everything right here. Next thing you're gonna need is some tomato sauce. Hunt's is what I use. I'm kind of looking to find another one that I can use. I do enjoy this one, it's fine. I kind of want to up my game on this because I've been getting into different canned tomato recipes and using different kind of Italian tomatoes, but Hunt's will work. Next thing you need is some diced tomatoes. I prefer the fire roasted diced Hunt's with garlic. I've used just the regular diced, and you can do that, or any brand that you need. But I prefer this one. I've used it and it adds quite a bit to it. You need a can of kidney beans. Now, the chili beans themselves are actually pinto beans, so you don't need to add those because the chili beans are actually pinto, and these would be kidney beans that you can use also to add into the mix. Can of green chilies diced. I prefer Hatch green chilies, so that's what I use in mine, but any sort of canned diced green chilies will work. So that's all the canned ingredients and packaged ingredients. Next we need to talk about vegetables. You need 1 onion. I do prefer white onion. Unfortunately, when I went to purchase a white onion, they were out, so I went with this. I've used a yellow sweet onion before, and quite a bit before I moved into the white, and works just fine. You probably wouldn't even be able to tell the difference, but I prefer the white. I feel like it cuts through the acidity a little bit more. That's a personal preference. You need 2 fresh jalapenos. Now, my father's recipe, he actually used like a pickled sliced jalapeno, like jarred. You can do that. I did that for years. I prefer it this way because you're gonna let this sit overnight. It will cook that jalapeno, and this way you can core out any of the seeds. But we'll get into that here a little bit later. You need 1 pound of beef. What I'm doing today, I'm actually doing 1 pound of natural bison meat. I want to try this out, so I don't know how this is going to pan out. We'll see later in the video, but I wanted to go bison. Then you want 1 pound of like sausage, ground sausage. In lieu of that, I'm doing a elk sausage. So I'm going to have bison and elk in mind in this one. Years ago when I had a freezer in Iowa and I'd get a lot of free deer meat, I would do 1 pound of beef, grass-fed beef, 1 pound of deer meat, and that worked pretty well. I've also done, instead of sausage, I've also done Mexican chorizo, which is fantastic as well. The only issue I had there is it pulls a lot of oil because it is very fatty, very oily. So it pooled on top of the chorizo grease, basically sat on top of the chili. I didn't have a problem with it taste-wise, it was fantastic. So you can pretty much do whatever you want, as long as you have those core ingredients. You also need some cheese. I prefer buying block cheese and grating it myself. The reason being is when you buy bag cheese that has been shredded, you put powder on it, it's not as good. Do the extra legwork, get yourself the block, shred it yourself. It's fantastic. I prefer sharp cheddar. You can do a mild cheddar or any kind of cheese that you like to top it with. This is what I prefer. It cuts through everything in chili with the heat, acidity, anything like that. This has a sharp note on top of it and melts really well. It's fantastic. In Midwest, we love our Fritos. Obviously, you can get the chili Fritos. I know they're out there. The reason I like the original is this chili contains so much seasoning, so much flavor. You don't want to overkill it, so just normal Fritos will work. I also use a secret ingredient. It's my Uncle Catfish's smoked chili powder. This I use very sparingly. It is very, very hot. He actually smokes all of his peppers and has a process where he gets it down to an actual powder. This is my secret ingredient that really no one can get unless you know my Uncle Doug, and you can go knock on his door and get some from him. If you're a family of mine, you probably can. This is worth its weight in gold, and it's my secret into it. Now, I have found a substitute that reminds me a lot of that. I believe we found this at either Sprouts or World Market. It's a Spice Islands ground chipotle chili. This right here, if you obviously can't get that, just add a dash of this to the end, but we'll go over that as we mix everything else. First thing we're gonna do is dice up this onion. I had a mishap today with my finger. I actually cut it with a knife on accident, so bear with me. I'm not gonna do the greatest job here, but this is not a great looking onion. I'll tell you that right now. Slim pickings we had at the store the other day. Now you can cut these onions as large as you would like. They will cook down in the chili. I like them slightly diced up. I don't like big chunked onion. This seems to be about a good size for it. You can go smaller or larger if you like big onion chunks in. Next thing will be the jalapenos. Now with peppers, you need to take the seeds out. Trial and error over time, I have realized that these seeds, as much as you want heat, you can get heat other ways. These seeds will make your chili bitter. So I try to get rid of those. I get my heat from the Williams chili powder, and then either, like I stated, that chipotle powder works well. You can add heat that way. And with this Williams seasoning, it adds so much heat on its own that the normal everyday chili eater would not appreciate more heat than what's already there from the Williams chili powder itself. So I suggest the first time you make this is to definitely make it without adding too much to it, because it has a lot of flavor and quite a bit of heat. And once you slice the jalapenos in half and core it, I like to do nice thin slices. This is all for flavor. Jalapeno flavor is all there. You don't need any seeds to amplify this at all. Keep that bitterness down. We're gonna brown the beef, sausage, in this case bison and elk. fantastic. Just like any meat, you're going to want to add a little bit of salt. A little bit of fresh pepper for flavor. Always salt and pepper your meat. Alright, so we're done browning up our beef sausage. I'm going to add that to the crock pot. Alright, so we have our beef in there. Now we're going to start adding all the canned ingredients. First off, the whole can of tomato sauce. Add that in. We're going to do kidney beans drained. Drain everything out of the kidney beans, just the beans themselves. That's all we want. We want the whole can of fire roasted diced garlic tomatoes, or any just diced tomatoes you want. Let's go in. We're gonna do this whole can Mrs.Grimes chili beans. Everything, even the sauce inside, that's what you want. That goes all in. Look at those. I mean, they're fantastic. They're the best you can find. Hunt them down, they're worth it. And then the diced green chilies. Hatch green chili. Then, one thing I did leave out earlier, chopped garlic or minced garlic. I highly suggest Christopher Ranch. It's fantastic garlic. So what I do is I get a nice big old dollop of that. That goes right in there. Just like that. Maybe just a little extra. Can't hurt. If you're a garlic fan, get it in there. Fantastic. Then you want a packet of Williams chili seasoning. The original. Williams chili seasoning. The orig. The whole packet goes in. And this is where all your flavors come from. The smell, just once you open it up, it's just a smoked. It's the best chili seasoning ever. Then what I do is my Uncle Catfish do a little dash of that, but that's mine. You're not gonna have that. I would go, like I said, Spice Island Chipotle. It's very similar. I would do that instead and just add just a dash in there. It's just adding a little bit of flavor and just a scotch of heat. Just a dash is all you need, especially on this. Oh, it's just so smoky. It's fantastic. So once that's all in, we'll add our vegetables on top. Whole onion, 2 jalapenos, and then you just plug in the crock pot, let it go overnight on low. Mix it all together, obviously. That's it. There's one for cheese. There we go. Chili time. cheese and Fritos on top, and enjoy.